Welcome back, everybody. Rabbit Hole Sports and Media YouTube channel. It is our rivalry showdown episode with the UCSB Gauchos. We do have a bye week to get through first, and I do want to show off a game plan, but abbreviated, get a lot closer to that 30-minute mark. So a little rapid fire here in this first section until we get up to gameplay. So in recruiting, 4-star running back Alex Trapasso from Chandler, Arizona is going to Arizona. We replace him on the board with Ben Sabry from Adelanto, California. 5-star Antoine Cobb visits this week. We can get a max of 5 high-end talent still in this class, and we also are going to add a visit to 4-star linebacker Dalton Warren. Figure if it goes well, we got a chance to get him. If it doesn't go well, he goes somewhere else, which it looks like he will do anyway. So no harm, no foul. Games of the week. We got Western Michigan at Eastern Michigan. This is the promotion relegation tiebreaker game in the American Conference this season. Also a part of the Michigan MAC Trophy between Western, Eastern, and Central Michigan. Number 15, Oregon goes to Washington. Utah goes to Colorado. Number 20, Alabama goes to Tennessee for the third Saturday in October. Number 9, Florida State goes to number 12, Texas A&M. Wake Forest travels to take on number 22, North Carolina. Mississippi State battles LSU in Baton Rouge. Bowling Green at Toledo in the Battle of I-75. Number 24, Arkansas takes on number 18, Miami in South Florida. And number 6, Clemson on the road to take on the number 1 team in the country, the Georgia Bulldogs, a matchup that has not fared well for them in real life in recent years. And we know the results to those right away as we move ahead. Western Michigan dominant 49-10 over Eastern Michigan as they look to remain in the American Conference for a third straight season. Oregon, a nail-biter, 35-33 over Washington. Utah and Colorado, very similar, 37-35 in favor of the Utes. Alabama, 31-20 over the Volunteers of Tennessee. Texas A&M, a 3-touchdown victory, 42-21 over Florida State. Wake Forest in a one-score game beats out the Tar Heels 31-26. LSU 27-19 over Mississippi State. Toledo dominant over Bowling Green 38-10. Miami 27-22 over Arkansas, and Georgia continues their reign of terror over Clemson 41-18. Moving right along, this next week in the week we are actually playing UCSB. Number 21 Utah will visit number 19 Kansas State. Number 17 Miami, Ohio visits Ball State. Number 1 Georgia visits South Carolina. Notre Dame at USC. Nebraska at Colorado. Kent State at Akron for the Wagon Wheel Trophy. Number 18 Florida State at number 12 Clemson. So the Tigers fall 6 spots after the loss to Georgia. In the top 25, Georgia remains number 1, Ohio State 2, Oklahoma 3, USC 4, Penn State 5, Rutgers 6, Tulane 7, Texas A&M 8, Michigan 9, so they're not quite dead yet for a three-peat, and Syracuse at 10. Kind of ridiculous that they have only gone down 4 spots after their loss to us, and we remain unranked, but we won't worry about that. Breaking down the rankings, in the Super 2, we got 9 SEC teams, 7 Big Ten teams. In the Power 4, 2 teams from the ACC, 3 from the American, 1 from the Big 12, and 1 from the Pac-12, being our opponent this week, the UCSB Gauchos. And in the Group of 4, North Texas from the Mountain West and Miami, Ohio of the MAC cracked the top 25. A quick look at the conference standings as we are at the halfway point in the season. Not too much has happened in this first half in terms of head-to-head conference games, so not really going to break down where everyone sits because the standings don't really reflect too much. UCSB will already be playing their 4th conference game when we meet them on the field today. In recruiting, Antoine Cobb, he's going to Baylor. We finished 3rd in that recruitment. Very unfortunate. We replace him on the board with 2-star Tyree Chubb from Adelanto, California. So another guy from Adelanto on the board. We get our first commit in 4-star offensive tackle Ryan Roche, 6'8", 327 pounds from Green Beret, California. California. So we continue to build up the beef on the offensive line. We also got locked out by 4-star middle linebacker Dalton Warren, so unfortunate to waste those resources on the visit. We replace him on the board with 2-star junior college sophomore Evan Mentor from Folsom, California. Looking at the Gauchos, they had a coaching change in the offseason, moved from a pro style to a spread offense. I believe their old coach was Jesse Freeman, who is now at Florida, off to a good start with the Gators at 5-1. The Gauchos went 10-4 last year. The 15-5 overall record with Freeman would match up well, the 10-4 and 5-1. He also has the pro style and 4-2-5 offensive and defensive scheme. So that I believe that is the guy who was coaching the Gauchos a season ago. New coach, Paul White, wherever he was, I don't know where, went 4-8 last season and brings over the spread offense, keeping the defense the same. Probably going to be our toughest game of the season, and I want it to semi-regularly be that way. I want this to be a good measuring stick game for us year in and year out. On offense, they're led by the 86 overall quarterback, Deshaun Wheeler. Very classic quarterback from the pocket. Accurate, great arm, not a great runner, not going to move around too well. At running back, number 9, Emil Singer, a 90 overall. Very solid all around. Not elite speed or twitchiness, but can break tackles, catch passes out of the backfield, and he is certainly not slow. At receiver, just as fast and probably better and more polished even than USC, especially at the top end, with number 13, 97 overall, Amani Tolles, fast, elite route runner. Number 12, Ivan Berry, 83 overall, similar to Tolles, not as polished. 85, 83 overall, Terrence Weeks. Very similar skill level to Ivan Berry, little less speed and route running, replaced with some more physicality and ability to catch the ball in traffic. Tight end, Trent McCabe, a monster, great blocker, great underneath route runner, presents a real issue, because do we put a run-stopping linebacker on the field to match up with the blocking, or do we put a cover guy on the field to match up with the route running? A lot of conflict there. Offensive line, anchored primarily on the left side. Number 62, Marquise Harvey, an 86 overall, an elite pass blocker. John Turnbull, an 92 overall at left guard. Very good all around. Zane Dean, a 91 overall at center. Also strong all around. Their weakest link, our best matchup, is going to be a right guard. Number 77, the 76 overall, Monte Moore. At right tackle, number 68, 83 overall, Pierce Erickson, strong pass blocker, not as much in the run. They also have, I believe, Jake Taylor, a transfer who we went after. I don't know what is up with him, and I forgot to include it in this video. I assume he is injured because he was at least a low 80s overall. But in the game plan, the main formation I want to show versus 3 wide receivers is this primary 3-3-5, 3-high defense. I want to put Kai Riggins in at right outside linebacker. The game won't let me. That's really unfortunate, so we will use Alexander Valentine instead. But going around the horn here, if you follow what player I am on, I will be saying who will be playing what spot. But we got Jaden Bowie, Terrell Pace, Josh LeBourne, Nico Solomon, Noah Collins, Noah Forsyth, Deshaun Weeks, Joshua Townsend, Alexander Valentine, Jaquez Blanks, and Marquez Carty. So we are playing this a lot because we want to maximize the number of guys in the third level to help cover the speed of their receivers. We also want to maximize our speed in the second and third level overall to help cover the receivers and outrun their blockers or offensive line. And we want to minimize our number of guys on the line of scrimmage. So unlike USC, where we wanted to get guys on the line of scrimmage because our defensive line run-stopping ratings compared to their offensive line run blocking, I liked the matchup and what we were doing schematically in order to mess things up for them. With UCSB, I do not like the matchup, so we want to minimize the guys near the ball at the snap, because if we lose a bunch of guys at the snap of the ball, around the ball, we don't have as many guys to defend after that. That's the simplest way to put it. On defense, on the defensive line, at left end, number 41, Jakari Warwick, 75 overall, good burst, not great strength or run-stopping ability. At right end, Jeremiah Buckley, number 33, and 80 overall, tremendous athlete, but we can go after him in the run game. I don't know why Malik Robinson-Ross is not the other end. But at defensive tackle, Matt Murray, an 88 overall, very strong run stopper and powerful interior rusher. He is going to be a handful for us. And Darius Lockett is not going to be a piece of cake either, an 83 overall, who is very well-rounded and strong. At linebacker, it's a 4-2-5, so the guys we'll see is a little hard to predict. At left outside linebacker, number 7, Jalen Galloway, very good run stopper, 88 overall. At middle linebacker, another absolute beast, number 49, Joel Glass, all-around talent, relentless to the ball. At right outside linebacker, we got number 11, Jamello Harrison, 86 overall, who is a very good pass rusher. At corner, they got Javorius Lumpkin, 90 overall, number 4, very good athlete, good coverage, and also tremendous in run support. Number 21, Arik James Jr., 80 overall, 6'4" with good speed. Interesting profile there, also good in run support. Free safety, number 29, 81 overall, Lionel Solomon, solid all around. Number 6, 88 overall, strong safety, John Trey Russell, elite in zone and in run support. And strong safety, number 22, 84 overall, Jeremy Woolen, very good in run support and also solid coverage. Not great, but solid. And an alert if number 31, Shamar Watts, or number 18, Rock Beasley come in, we need to go after those guys. In their sub personnel, so when we have 3 wide receivers on the field, not always a 1-to-1 correlation when you go up against these 4-5 teams, because they like to leave that third safety in there to replace a linebacker and instead of a slot corner. But in their sub personnel, Jamello Harris is going to rush from the left side, Daquan Denard from the right side. Elite finesse moves and elite quick moves, but they could be vulnerable in the run game. At rush D tackle, the same 2 guys, Matt Murray and Darius Lockett, again, gonna be a problem. And then Jalen Galloway and Jeremy Woolen are listed as their sub linebackers, no Joel Glass. So very interesting. Slot corner is Javorius Lumpkin, and with that, our game plan, we're gonna get into our spread formations early, utilize those wide splits, try to eliminate those run-helping defensive backs in Lumpkin and James, run more traditional option and some power read plays. We really want to challenge those edges, which is kind of an issue because the more you run to the edge, the more you're going to involve those corners, no matter how wide the splits are to a degree. Our best chance to run and pass is going to be getting in base personnel. So after the USC game, I want the second phase of our game plan to have the ability to be multi-dimensional. So I want to start in the spread, move to more of our base, and then we'll get into more traditional run game and play action. So final notes before we get going, before the Gauchos here today. Overall keys: cap the big plays on defense, slow the game down on both sides of the ball, have run and pass available in the second phase on offense, and a big key to that is going to be executing early on in this game with capping the big plays on defense and slowing the game down on offense. Here we go. As Mr. Incredible would say, showtime. Noma, UCSB, Week 9, Season 2, Game 7 for us, Game 8 for them. A little look at the uniform combination going into this one. No special runouts coming along as we are at home. I really hope they add that in the next game. Just something. Give us something. Want to see us run out in front of the home crowd. In the all blues, though, George Lincoln sends it away, and it is time for rivalry football. A pair of California schools that can each be accessed on the 101 highway as Trent McCabe and the offense come out for UCSB in the white with the yellow helmets. And there we see the 3 high safeties. This is actually a prevent defense as they came out in 4 wide receivers. I could get into more how I utilize that if people want to know, but I don't want to bore people to death with what I'm talking about. Man in motion. That is number 85, Terrence Weeks. Flag on the play. And that is going to be holding on the Gauchos. I believe that's the first we've seen in-game all season. I eventually want to move into utilizing some more realistic penalty sliders, but at this point, the only penalties in the game are really me with delay of games and causing false starts because of the changes. But Emil Singer, loose, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Gauchos, number 9, to the house, 77 yards, and a screamer to get us going in Rohnert Park. Shades of last year where Singer went off. I forget exactly how many yards he had, but it was close to 200, and we see the importance of tackling. Solomon with a shot. I don't know what Jaden Bowie is doing there coming in. Didn't really do much of anything. And Emil Singer off to the races, outrunning Jaquez Blanks. Love the dive attempt. I also love that EA Sports fixed the fact that diving used to just be so overpowered. It felt like you could catch a guy from 4 yards behind, but maybe not losing ground that much on the dive would also be a little realistic. Ty Hardy on the return, only to the 14-yard line. Peaks, Barnes, Tyson, McLawler, the offense on the field to open this one, and here we see the power read gonna be the first play of the game here on offense. We get it snapped. It is Tyson. Nice cut. Foot in the ground, and it is a first down to get us going. Would love a quick answer. Again, we want to slow the game down. We essentially want to run it for as long as possible, but again, we want to set ourselves up with beneficial matchups in the run and pass in the second phase of the game. Because again, against USC, as Tyson shows off the footwork once again, I was expecting it to be a close game and was trying to open up the pass game with the game plan, and then we were up and I was like, well, I don't really want to throw. And I felt like we had thrown the book at them in the run game. So in this game, in a way, I want to throw the book at them in the spread run game with the option, testing those edges because I want to open up the middle. And then in our base personnel, I do think we have some good pass matchups. So that is the plan as we march. Sorry that I have missed commentating direct action. But 2nd and 3, McLawler moves over. Little screen. Spencer Strickland underneath. And a first down in UCSB territory at the 36. Shift at the line. 4 eligibles to the right. Strickland, McLawler, the back and tight end. 2 receivers. Now we're in split back. Changing all around. Here we're going to run that option we talked about. Tyson to the outside, and another chunk run for number 7, doing it in a variety of ways on this drive. And here we're going to do the option the other way, and we're going to motion out McLawler. He is such a beast. I know Lumpkin is too, who's matched up across from him. But in a blocking matchup, I like Scotty Mack. Puts him on the ground. Strickland to the corner. He gets there. Last week couldn't quite make it versus Syracuse, but a flag on the play. And all is even in love and war. UCSB a holding early. Sonoma State a holding early. That one on the freshman, Suachu. And we empty out the backfield on 2nd and 18. And we hit Scott McLawler on the out route. And he is going to get to the sticks inside the 10-yard line. 1st and goal. Would love to see a classic Scott McLawler game. Today, we're shut out by Syracuse. Strickland up the middle. Answer right away. Noma in the end zone. Number 12, the multi-dimensional slot back. Fire in the bow. The crowd is hyped, and it is level in this opening frame of this Pac-12 rivalry contest. Back at work, the offense. Deshaun Wheeler moving around. More jet motion. Singer again, stacked up. This time, already 91 yards on the ground on just 4 carries. Quick alert, that is Amari Tolles, number 13. Off the play action, Wheeler on target. My usering skills exposed. 1st and 10, 36-yard line. Wheeler from the pocket, throwing, hits Trent McCabe, and right there I was trying to user Jordan Underwood on the edge to go cover McCabe and bring that blitz, and you can't really get him off the line to go out and do that. I was trying to time it up with the snap. Could not do it. Not the time to experiment. Stupidity. But anyway, Singer up the middle, somehow gets in, crosses the plane just barely, despite a gritty contest from Bubba Van Claiborne and Jaquez Blanks. And it is the Singer show early, and that has become the case anytime we have matched up with the Gauchos. Very excited for him to graduate and move on to the NFL next season. Motion out Tanner Milan. Hit Peaks underneath. Would have had a little conflict there between Young and Milan with a chance to get it deep, but on those quick throws, the O-line not dropping as deep in their protection, and with the matchup with their speed on the edges, really want to make sure we are getting it out quick on plays that are designed to be quick. Changing it up. 1st and 10 in our own territory as the first quarter winds down. Snap away. Barnes with the play fake. Looking to move around. Dangerous. Just barely gets it away. Almost one of the worst sacks you will ever see on a football field, as my high IQ always gets a little showtime in this series. Gotta love it. We enter the second quarter, as you saw the rusher comparison there. A couple of explosive backs. Scott McLawler on the outside for another first down. A couple of nice plays to number 80 early. No huddle. Getting right back to the line of scrimmage. Motioning over McLawler. Barnes with the fake. One-on-one. Peaks out of reach. Inaccurate. On the ground, Tyson, that is Matt Murray and Darius Lockett. Said they would be a handful. Show it right there. Stuffing up the run. Brings up a must-throw situation on 3rd and 9. Don't always love those, but Spencer Strickland, reliable, trusty, and open for a Sonoma State first down. And we move into UCSB territory. Pulling linemen, getting around, cannot get the blocks set up. Only a yard. Here, love when the trap works so nicely, especially when you're facing such good interior defensive linemen, because you're letting them essentially shoot up the field thinking they're unblocked, and then you have a lineman with an angle on them. Just clear them out. So awesome. Can't overuse it because smart linemen will figure it out, but when you mix it in, it can be such a nice way to get the ground game going up the middle when it would normally be hard to create those opportunities. Tyson on the outside gets 8. And this march for the Seawolves continues. So we've successfully slowed this game down up to this point. Cheese, please, Spencer Strickland. But we need to cap off this drive in the end zone on the 3rd and 6. Because of that very reason, thinking 2 downs here, we go option. Barnes cuts, cannot quite escape the linebackers, but it sets us up with a 4th and 2. Look how spread out they are, which maybe isn't the worst idea with how good Matt Murray is on the interior, but Barnes up the middle, TB5 in the end zone. Sonoma State with the answer they need, and this game is level again midway through the second quarter. Look at the electricity and excitement amongst the crowd. Lincoln sends it away, and number 1, I should really know who that is, on the return, Tanner Milam. Great special teams play. Inside the 10, Wheeler out quick, and Noah Collins doing what he does, come up and support in the screen game and run game from the outside, but Wheeler doing what he does. Deshaun Wheeler dishing it all over the field early in this one. All on the field? What? Number 12 on the jet sweep. Only a gain of a couple. That is Ivan Berry. 3rd and 3. This time, zone fake jet. We get to Singer. Flag down on the play. They did pick up the first, and that is going to be a hold on Monte Moore, the right guard. So 3rd overall holding penalty we have seen today. 2nd on UCSB. Going to lock on to that most interior guy on the left-hand side in some man coverage. Allow Solomon to lurk that middle. Picks it off. Nico Solomon with the interception. A takeaway. And the Seawolves are in Gaucho territory with a chance to take the lead before the half. Big time play. I really undercut the route too early, and as you can see there, if he gets it high, he probably can get it over me. But off the turnover, a delay of game, a penalty, a setback, mental lapse from myself right there. 2nd and 17. Strickland on the move. Pre-snap. Nolan Knight to the left in the backfield. Snap away. Quick penetration. Knight also ran into that block there. All our favorite things on the screen. And just like that, a 3rd and 17. Quick to Strickland. He's going to make it close. Not quite, but close enough to go for it. And on 4th and 2, we're going to do play action. Gregory stays in. Can't pick up the extra man. The pressure gets there. And a stop for UCSB. And that's one of those where it feels like you just kind of sacrifice the momentum you get. But Jordan Underwood looking to get it right back. Gets off the block. of McCabe and gets to Wheeler. Moving around and escaping pressure, not going to be his specialty. We need to find a way to get it there, though. Going to be very hard versus this O-line. Tolles gets significant space for the first time today, and the Gauchos are on the move. McCabe had a couple of big catches earlier, has another quality chunk right there. Wheeler on the money to the outside. Another first down, and UCSB is slicing and dicing. Ivan Berry inside the 5. First and goal. Moving around the line and the linebackers. Pick play to the flat. Berry Riggins gotta finish the play there. Gets picked off in the concept. You'll see it on the replay. Really nice coverage. First man concept. Very hard to defend that. Got to do a better job, though. Did a nice job getting over the first one, but then got to get down and underneath. And LJ Young Jr. puts it on the deck. Had an opportunity to get a game-tying score going into the break, and then would get the ball back out of the half. Instead, we put it on the ground, and it is Wheeler and Tolles right to work inside the red zone, just outside of 30 seconds in the half. And I'm making an adjustment as they snap it. And this is why I wish you could just do a little bit to pre-save some changes you want to do in plays, because I'm initiating another control, trying to do an adjustment, and it just gets me a step out of position, and we get cooked. I need to do a better job of recovering, take a better angle, certainly focus on the fact that I need to execute that better, but very frustrating how that timed out. And just like that, a huge swing before the break, 28-14. Story of the first half, really. Turnovers. UCSB cashes in on the opportunity we gave them with the fumble. We do not cash in on the opportunity we get off the interception, but a chance to cut it to a one-score game as Ty Hardy returns it to open this second half. Empty on the first play, and some movement along the line. Looked like Scott McLawler out on the end there, and the Seawolves shooting themselves in the foot. But here, look how aggressive they are. I don't think we've won a single straight go ball on the outside, and we really shouldn't. We don't have the receivers to do that. But off play action, when they're that up down the line, down the middle, redemption. LJ Young, keep the faith in your guys. Fumble earlier, big play there. Quick throw to Nolan Knight. He is swallowed up. Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. And on this play here, goes into the helmet. They do get the pressure, but if we stand strong and trust the block from our back, look at that. We have Javon Moore breaking open. That first guy on the interior right there has his back turned. And this guy back here, sure, he can come down on it, but we have so much space to allow Javon Moore to run back to the football. Need to stand strong in the pocket, trust our blocking, and deliver that. We do that right here on a 3rd and 13, and Scotty Mack with the first down. A very solid game for the senior tight end. Barnes on the keeper, ground game, swallowed up with the quarterback. Had some success with it earlier, not right there, and the pressure getting home. Number 28, Darquez Denard with the sack. 3rd and 16. This time we do hit the comeback. That is Javon Moore, and it is a first down. Inside the 5, Barnes on the deck, recovered. Lockett, the big fella, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Peaks runs him down. What a huge play, and no way he can do that celebration after running that far. Huge momentum swinging play on another fumble from the Seawolves, and Emil Singer gets the first down on a 3rd and 1. Another turnover where we give them great field position. Solo on solo opportunity. Touchdown. Ivan Berry on Noah Collins. He beats him. Touchdown. Gauchos, and they are keeping it steady in this second half. Staying unfazed. Keep making plays and looking to attack. Not giving them a lot of opportunities downfield. I think that's one of the first times all game we played with a single high safety, and they cook us against literally the best overall player on our team, Noah Collins. I believe his overall matches Ivan Berry, so definitely makes sense that he would lose on occasion. You know, it happens. 2nd and 15. Barnes on the roll out of the pocket. Wide open and the miss. A couple of missed throws from TB5. And on a 3rd and 20, has to be a miscommunication from the Gauchos. We hit Peaks this time, and he has a first down. Barnes at 2:26 through the air. 4.5 to go in the 3rd quarter. Not over. Tyson to the outside, trying to keep it on the ground, but we definitely need to start getting some more chunk plays. From the pocket, Barnes trying to move, cannot. Matt Murray and I believe Lockett again in on the sack, trying to hit Maverick Bentley. Not really the ideal personnel to have on the field. Our second tight end matched up with Arik James. The corner, he covers it very well, jumps the route to the inside, gets another turnover, and what are we down? 3 touchdowns? And what have we done on our last 3 drives? Turn the ball over. The simplest way to tell the story of this game. 3rd and 10. Deshaun Wheeler in this offense really in the zone outside of that one stop. Can't get an animation to trigger there for an interception. Over Dakota Mills' head. Another big play. Cardi with a chance. Can't bring him down. Still ends up a successful play for us defensively. But very frustrating. Can't make the play there. And absolutely dotted and carved. Deshaun Dishin Wheeler serving it up today. A touchdown to number 19. I believe it's Isaiah Greenwell Jr. And right here, I talked about it. The speed off the edge, just right around Kalen Franklin. Can't even lay a finger on him. And on this play here, very stupid. I motioned the receiver over, and the A button is what you hit to pull the ball out on the read. And stupidly, when you motion him over, instead of blocking, they put the receiver on the hitch route. And since that receiver became the A button, instead of pulling the ball out to run the play the way it's designed, it throws a hitch. Insane. Insane that actually happens. BDC pipe alert. He shuts down the run game. 3rd and 12 for the Gauchos. It is the backup quarterback and backup offense on the field. And they nearly pick up the first as I put on a clinic on how to over-pursue as a linebacker, and they're going to go for it, hold on to it, no rest for us. Keep going after us, throw it away on 3rd and 6, gonna hold them to a field goal midway through this 4th quarter, and it has been all Gauchos essentially since they stopped us on that 4th down following the Nico Solomon interception. Gonna see if the offense can make the score look a little prettier. Barnes out to the right, cuts, lot of space, number 5 is loose, always dangerous, makes a man miss, caught from behind, and taken down inside the Gaucho 30 at the 27-yard line. Most explosive run for Teron Barnes so far today, and here Kalen Franklin shuts us down instead of just finishing off the guy with the block to the left side, and here a great example of how that drag wheel really meant to work against one high press, not too high. 4th and 11 now. Matthew York will come out, put 3 on the board, make that score look a little prettier for now. 45-17. Disappointing the way the game has gone. For sure, I think there's a lot of things you can look at and point to that still signify improvement. This Gaucho team is better than last year's team. I believe in, certain senses, we were a lot more competitive than last year. I will say after last season's game, I felt a lot more like, oh man, like that was brutal, no way. As what a throw as TB5 gets hit and puts it on the money to Javon Moore. Do not know how he did that. Ends up being a duck dime to Javon Moore and a big play. 40-plus yards. But back to what I was saying, this year I really felt like, man, if we executed or didn't have a couple of significant things happen on a couple plays, I really felt like we could have made this game competitive. So, still growth, still moving in the right direction overall as we'll be 5-2, still past our win total from a season ago. Scotty Mack touchdown as he puts the cap on what has been a very solid game for him. But certainly disappointing and a bit of a down-to-earth moment today. Overall, as our rivals put a little humble pie on the plate for us. And Tyson, another thing I'd love to see them adjust is receivers having the ability to identify where the hole in the zone is and maybe not spot up right behind the defender and instead inside the massive gap. We're able to throw our way around that issue to make it 45-25. Score certainly looks a lot prettier than indicated, but Deshaun Wheeler was dishing it. Be smart on Isla Vista tonight, young man. Gonna be easy to be dishing something else after this performance today. On target and money. 253 and 4 touchdowns. We outgained them. Overall solid gain on the ground with 5 yards per carry, especially incorporating some sacks in there. But that's the real story of the game there. The 3 turnovers to the 1, and the fact that they cashed in all 3 turnovers. The one we got, we did not cash in. Barnes hits the 300 mark for the second time this season. A touchdown and his second interception thrown on the year. Tyson, solid game on the ground. Got him going a lot early. Did not late, again, as we fell behind. Strickland leads us in catches. McLawler leads us in touchdowns. And Moore leads us in yards. Jordan Underwood, he picks up a sack. And Nico Solomon, he picks up an interception. For the Gauchos, unreal performance, 19-20, and the one incompletion didn't even touch the ground as Nico Solomon had his hands on that one. Another great game from Emil Singer. If you eliminate that 77-yard run on the first drive, though, he finished with 13 carries for like 48 yards, which is less than 4 yards a carry. So, outside of that one run, pretty solid job actually in run defense. Again, was trying to cap explosives, and we let one up. And in the pass game, again, didn't let up too many explosives, but we certainly got to cut down on the efficiency that we allowed. And last but not least, before we go today, the scores of the games this week. K-State 35-16 over Utah. Miami, Ohio, dominant 41-10 over Ball State. Georgia 37-28 over the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Notre Dame upsets the USC Trojans, does what we cannot, 45-42. Nebraska 34-6 over Colorado. Akron 23-17 over Kent State, and Clemson 31-10 over Florida State, bouncing back nicely from the rough loss to Georgia. But a rough loss for us. In this one today, we will look to bounce back next week on the road against the Nevada Wolfpack.